fastest growing sport in the world. It went from 1,500 to 10,000 within 12 months. Yeah. You saw it very early. It now seems very obvious. One of the biggest booms I've seen in the industry.
As hybrid training is now the mainstream, within a small block, there's us and 2 other HYROX affiliated gyms. If one of us didn't have a HYROX affiliation, we'd probably be cut purely based on that.
What is UNIT? What's the philosophy, and how did you guys come to be the owners of this great facility?
You're not competing against other people, you're competing against yourself. And people want to see people win. It is very much a community-based spectator sport, which is, even if you're not competing, you want to be a part of.
There was always this underlying theme of connecting members to each other.
What was it about the brand itself that got you involved initially, and then so much so that you wanted to bring it back to Australia?
I think
Welcome to a special episode of Profit Made Simple. We are breaking new ground in today's episode because we have 2 guests today. Welcome, Matt. Welcome, Alex, to the show.
Hello.
Thanks for having us.
Very excited to have you both. We're going to unpack HYROX, trends, and a number of other important issues today. But before we do so, I'd love to hear a little bit about you guys. You guys own UNIT in Sydney, Alexandria. What is UNIT? What's the philosophy, and how did you guys come to be the owners of this great facility?
Well, you go first, my love.
Well, UNIT itself started in London 9 years ago now.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we have been there since day one, and it's a group training facility, strength and conditioning. We brought it back to Australia 5 years ago now. So 2021.
So you were at the very start in London.
First day.
Yeah,
First day,
okay.
sort of like painting the walls, laying the turf type of scenario.
Yeah.
That was us.
We were just working at the time with Rob, the CEO, and we obviously have a really great working relationship with the boss, our CEO, Rob Smith. And we had such a good experience in London that we wanted to bring it back to Australia, essentially.
Okay. What was it about the brand itself that got you involved initially, and then so much so that you wanted to bring it back to Australia?
I think you, when you're living abroad, even though we had been there for a long period of time, it was very much our happy place. It was very much our safe space. We enjoyed it, like as in you wanted to go.
Yeah.
And I know Matt was working there at the time. I was just training there. I was someone who wasn't always like willing or wasn't always like keen to be going to the gym. It was something I kind of did because I knew I had to. And to feel a space that actually made you want to go, I thought that was quite special. We made a lot of friends there. And we had spoken about having a gym together for a long period of time. It just wasn't the right time for us because of our other jobs. And so it wasn't even a question. It was like when we were ready to move back to Australia and we were ready to open a space, it was like, of course, we were going to do UNIT. We didn't even look at any other franchises.
Yeah, okay. And what is it about UNIT? So it's obviously a very special place. You wanted to be there. But what is it about UNIT that makes it so special? I mean, there's so many gyms around Alexandria. Yeah. How many is there around where you're at, right?
17,000?
Yeah.
That's a lot. There's a lot.
A lot, right?
There's
so
a lot, yeah.
What makes UNIT so special?
I've always wanted a UNIT, and the UNIT in London it's a destination. You want to go out of your way to get there. So when you walk down the stairs or up the stairs, you're welcomed by name, and you know people know who you are. So obviously the programming is the programming, and it's really special to us that we focus on, progressive overload and everyone's getting better and seeing progress. But you want to have variety as well. But like any franchise or any gym, the program is only a small part of it. It has to be the coaches and the team and the atmosphere and the ethos that makes it sit a little bit differently to other franchises. So I think we have a personal stake in what UNIT is because we were there from the get-go. We've seen it change from day one to 9 years later. So the reason why it's special to us is because we've kind of watched it grow in a way, and we've seen it evolve over time.
It took all the best parts of what was group training at the time. It was really intentional, the connection between members in terms of the way the classes were designed, the sort of names given to them, the way the the program was designed or the classes specifically that were designed, there was always this underlying theme of connecting members to each other.
Yeah,
So it's not by default, it's by design.
It was definitely by design at the start. I also always think that and this is a bit of a bigger picture, but Rob, when he hired, he was very clever at hiring the right people. Personalities that would work together, not necessarily the same, but he just had this ability to find the right personalities, which then could facilitate these types of connections and these types of like connecting members with each other. And it was, I would say, very intentional from Rob's perspective. And I guess we learned that, or we felt that, and just were able to build on it.
Yeah, the unit classes, obviously you can run a class anywhere, but it's almost like a performance. It's a show. So there's a beginning, a middle, and a finale ending. So the ethos is we train as one. So the class has to start together, go through the process together, and then finish together. So having that community without calling it community was just by osmosis, and you're naturally creating community with the classes that were designed, and the coaching and the reception and the management. And if everything's working together, then you can't not build a community, which is basically why fitness business, like gyms, continue, because they build community.
That's the heart of it.
Yeah.
And you said it's a global franchise.
Yes.
So whereabouts is it located? Obviously in London.
So began in London. Like we are the only franchise in the Southern Hemisphere. So we
flex.
Yeah, we kind of operate a little bit like an independent. But yeah, London, there's a couple in London, Dublin, like throughout Europe, Germany, the Middle East. That's where everyone is based at the moment.
There's 10
about
studios.
10 studios, possibly some more in the future. Yeah.
How is the Sydney market different to the London market?
I'd say London and Sydney are pretty similar in a sense.
Yeah.
London or England and Australia probably want more strength training compared to, let's say, Germany, where I know they really want more conditioning classes, which is absolutely fine.
The Sydney market is always like, it's a forward market, right? It's probably a leading market when it comes to health and fitness.
Agreed.
Australia and obviously America, certain parts of America. I think London is very similar, as in like it's close on the heels to Australia in terms of trends and stuff like that. Throughout Europe, it gets a bit different depending on where you are.
Yeah.
Germany's quite a developed market. Like Munich was the first franchise of unit.
Okay.
But then if you compare that studio to somewhere like perhaps the Malta studio, which is quite new and it's quite like emerging, I would say, group fitness in somewhere like Malta. So across the other studios, it varies a lot, but England would be very similar to Australia.
Yeah.
And how much autonomy do you have being in a franchise model?
Probably more than other franchises, to be completely honest.
Yeah.
The programming is written from head office, but it's our business at the end of the day, and so like they're not, head office is very like accepting of the fact that every market is different. So there I would say probably more flexibility than most.
I think that's a really good thing, understanding that the markets are distinct and different. And like you said, the Sydney market values strength more. So let them have more strength options in their programming or classes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's also the issue of if you wanted to add another strength session or a conditioning session or a yoga or a Pilates or mobility, you can do that because essentially it is your studio to run and be as successful as you can. So if you're only doing what a franchise is giving you to do and you see something that could be added into it, that'll be your responsibility as an owner.
I love that. Very, very important. You guys have been in business 5 years.
5 years.
Yes.
No small feat.
For a gym,
For a gym, exactly.
Yeah.
I think we probably met maybe 3 years ago.
3 years
Sounds
ago,
about right.
Yes, maybe even longer. No doubt there's been some lessons in the last 5 years.
I wish we knew what we knew now back then.
Okay, so let's start there. What do you wish you knew?
That's such a good question.
That's it. Yeah, that is
That's a really good question.
I would probably the responsibility, the whole like no one's coming to save you thing of that's easy to get caught up as a franchise. And I know speaking with other franchise owners, you get I don't want to say a victim mentality, right? But you almost think like, oh, why am I not getting any more help? Or why is this not just easier? But as soon as you break that mindset of like my responsibility, my business, I think that helps a lot with like decision making. And like I said, we do get probably more liberties than things like your F45s yards that are pretty rigid. So that was a really big breakthrough.
I feel like systems and processes.
Yeah.
What about systems and processes? The
get-
value of them, or you have to have them?
From day
value
one.
of them.
Yeah.
The value of them, it's really important because obviously Alex and I did everything from the get-go and we'd never owned a business before, so we were just kind of going off what we thought was correct.
Deer in the headlights.
Yeah, to some degree.
Yeah.
There were some points where like, God, what do we even do here?
Well, you don't know what you don't know, right?
No.
Yeah, you don't
So
know what you
true.
don't know. Yeah. I think information overload or like that kind of, there is so much information available and, you know, I would consume. And the hard part is not that, it's the implementation. And any business coach will tell you this. But like the sort of the reality of that, like I would learn, but be so caught up in learning and absorbing information that I'm like, I actually don't know how to implement this.
Yeah.
Or I don't know which part to implement first.
How have you learned to distill that information into action now? Because you clearly have.
Yeah, I mean, I guess once you hire your first staff members, you have to do that. And it's still a learning process, like going from being the manager or the person who does it all to hiring someone and now offloading that onto them. It's a forever learning process. But yeah, it's like one step at a time, one process at a time. And we do it all the time. You know, we want to fix every problem in the world, but it's like, where do we want to start? Start with one.
Yeah. Great advice.
I think staffing is a big thing. Like once you know that you have good staff, hold on to them. Like finding, there's 1,000 coaches in Sydney and they can all do a great job. But are they doing a great job for your business? So once you have the staff, nurture them and you want to treat them well and you want to keep them coming back so they can help grow your business as well.
How have you found, or what are some of the things that have worked for you in, once you've identified good staff, keeping them in your business?
Playing to their strengths as well, things that they enjoy doing. But at the end of the day, they're in sales. Like we're all member retention. That's what we are. So if you're good with members, that's what I want you to do.
Yeah, we tend to be a bit more of a personality hire
Yeah, true.
Okay.
type place.
Yep.
But in saying that, we also have just been very lucky with our
Yeah,
staff.
we're very lucky.
I don't
actually.
think you're lucky.
I think we are. We're
We
lucky.
have, you know, like we've been open 5 years. We have a coach who's been with us for the entire 5 years.
Oh, wow.
And I think that's very special.
Yeah, that
she's
is.
great.
That's rare.
We had another girl who was with us for almost all of that. She's since fallen pregnant and left, but that's okay. She's allowed to do that. But honestly, I guess just be good people. Like, and this is part of being a manager, right? Like, you never ask your staff to do something you wouldn't do. I never try and when I try to, I guess like teach staff what they're doing, I always reflect back to when I was a staff member and I had managers, and you remember your good ones and the ones that you didn't necessarily like and why it was like that. And I think I'm just very aware of that. I'm very aware of what the staff member or what your employees are thinking or how they're feeling. And, you know, you're constantly trying to find middle grounds that works for both.
Yeah.
Great insights. I want to switch gears a little bit now.
Sure.
You guys are now renowned as one of the foremost pioneers in the HYROX space. So you guys were you saw it very early. It now seems very obvious. It's just one of the biggest booms I've seen in the industry, and I've been in it a long time.
Yeah.
Fastest growing sport in the world. You guys saw it before, not everybody, but just about everybody, particularly in the Sydney market. What did you see that others didn't at the time?
Yeah, we talked about this the other day. We knew about HYROX before it even came to Australia because of our connections
With the UK.
with the UK.
Okay.
So they were doing it before it came to Sydney. So
And Unit was doing it in the UK?
A couple of members, like friends of ours,
Okay.
coaches in the
London.
UK were participating already.
And we saw this, like, this is really, really cool. What is this thing? And then as soon as it came to Sydney, the first race 3 years ago now, it was just myself and Alex and I think 4 other members.
I think so the race came to Australia and it wasn't widely known. And I think, I could be wrong, but I think most of participants in that first race were big fitness were probably coaches, people who participated a lot in different sort of like either team sports, marathons, tries, people like that. So they were the ones who were up to date with sort of these newer races. And there was about 1,500 competitors in the first one in Sydney.
Yep.
That was it. And so we were going, Matt was like, I'm definitely doing it.
Yeah. That's a no-brainer.
So he had already signed up and we actually had, I can't remember, maybe 5 or 6 other members who were also like, I'm going to give it a crack.
Yeah.
And so early on, we already had people kind of interested that didn't really know what it was about.
Yeah.
I think for us, not really knowing what it was about, essentially, we knew the name, knew what the process was, but understanding the event side of things, and that was very new to us. So to be at the first event and experience this incredible venue hire and what they did through members and judges and crew and lighting and sound, and that was all very exciting. And this is a long time ago now.
Yeah. So you guys got very early exposure to it.
It's very early.
And then when you did go and you competed, did you immediately know when you saw it? You saw the professionalism, you saw the setup, you saw the energy of it. Did you know that it was going to just blow up?
I think the telling factor, or one of the telling factors, was that, so Matt completed his race almost like immediately was like, I can do better.
Yeah,
And
interesting. Look at that psychology.
Because he hadn't done any specific training, didn't really know how to train for it yet.
I thought I was so fit.
Just thought he was fit enough, which I think was probably most of it.
Yeah, because you're not really knowing what's about to happen.
I don't know at what point but there was a Melbourne race a couple of weeks after the initial first Sydney race.
It was quite close together.
And Matt was like, I'm going to go to Melbourne and do better.
Yeah.
So we flew out the morning of.
So we flew to Melbourne in the morning. He did his race, and I think we flew back the same day. It was just like an in and out, just so he could get a better time.
Did you do better?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. But we're talking about what makes HYROX is that it's the first sport that I've seen where it's data driven. You know, your timing chip on your ankle where you can see I've got this time at this station.
And I think it was a big contributing factor to being like,
I can see what I've done good and what I haven't done well. So what can I do in my training to get better at it? And like any health and fitness or journey, it's
I love
progress.
that mentality that you had though. So immediately you finished, you've got this data, and so you love the data because you can go, all right, this is how I did in all the different stations. I can do better.
Yeah.
So I'm going to fly to Melbourne to go and do better.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I have a look, and that seems to be not only you having that mentality, but now
it's
thousands
everyone.
of people.
Thousands of people having the same mentality.
Progress is addictive.
Yeah.
When you can see the progress and you go, in my heart of hearts, I know I can do better, it pushes you to go further. It's like a weight loss challenge in a gym. So once I see the data
Just see
of
the
that,
scales moving.
the scales move or the muscle going up, it's like, what else can I do? Can I keep pushing?
It's the progress principle, right?
Absolutely.
It's this big self-fulfilling loop. I'm seeing more progress. I'm going to be more motivated, more inspired. I'm going to push that little bit harder. And so you saw that for yourself. And then were you seeing that in your members as well?
Yeah, I think the other side of it was because I didn't compete in the first one. I, unlike Matt, didn't feel like I was fit enough in that moment. So I went and spectated. And like I said, we had a few athletes participating throughout the day. So I basically spectated and watched these athletes from station to station all day. So just walking up and down stations, seeing this person, seeing the next person. So I think my brain kind of went to I feel like I'm participating, or I feel like I'm part of this and I'm not even racing. And I'm just supporting. And, you know, as a coach, that's very important. But even just them watching each other. So they would stay and watch each other, even if it meant that it was an hour or two after, because, you know, watching someone takes an hour. So you're committing to the hour. But you just felt like I felt like I was, you know, as a coach, I felt like that's important, being there to support them. And so facilitating, they facilitate the spectator side of things really well also. So it's like an experience for everyone. So I guess my brain kind of went to, I can see, because, you know, we had done a few other competitions in the gym, turf games, etc. And I was like, I can see how members would enjoy both the training together, but also watching each other perform, essentially.
It kind of creates, again, that word community.
It's interesting, right? Because the way this episode started, you guys talked about how you curate, you engineer connection and community. And then that you've observed that this is a great way, a great vehicle to even just amplify that community.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think straight away that was very obvious.
Even for the second Sydney race, which was a year later, obviously the word had got out. So from 1,500 member competitors to Sydney, which was,
I think it was close to 10.
yeah, almost
Wow.
10.
So it went from 1,500
yeah, it was incredible.
to 10,000
Amazing.
within 12 months.
Yeah.
So we had a lot more members in Sydney's second race than we did the first. So people were training towards it because we were training I was training towards it.
Yeah, so they had seen, I guess they had probably seen their coach, Matt, do it 4 weeks later, do it better.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, I wonder what he can do this time around, that it's 12 months later and he's actually done some training towards it.
So they were getting involved in the journey.
Yeah, I think that's part of it. People are involved in
Yeah.
the journey. They want to see people do well. Like we had a member who had started his journey in a race. He got closer to sort of like that 2-hour mark. You know, by the second race, he dropped it by 20 minutes. And I think as exciting as that is for him,
More exciting for us.
everyone else sees that as well. And everyone else is so invested in everyone else's journey.
You're not
as
competing
well.
against other people. You're competing against yourself. And
Yes.
people want to see
you
people win.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, it's very exciting to watch other people, especially when you've done classes together, you've done training together, and you're like, I've seen that guy. I've seen him turn up to classes. I see him every week, and he's just gone and PB'd by, it doesn't matter if it's a minute, 20 minutes, whatever. It's like,
It's still a win.
it's still a win.
Yeah. And it's not just his win.
No,
Everybody's
it's for the team.
celebrating it
Yeah.
with him.
That's the cool part. And, you know, a lot of people are at the race watching him, watching everyone else. Like you get to see each other's progress. It's cool.
I think for us for the second event is myself and Tom, a good friend of ours, were training towards doing something fast. Like not that we went out there to win, but it's like how fast can we actually go? And everyone's talking about this sub-hour HYROX, and I didn't know what that meant. It's just let's just go and have a really fun time. But the first event, we had friends of a friends who had qualified for world championships. And I had no idea what world championships is. So another draw card for us is like, I'll have these.
Sounds cool, right?
That sounds cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do really well. You get to get invited to world championships, which was really exciting. Oh, that's really, really cool.
These are like everyday athletes as well. These are our friends. And so they're not like full-time athletes that get paid to do this. It's like,
They're
oh my
9 to
God,
5 workers.
these
They're
guys
lawyers.
get to go to Worlds. It's like, cool.
That's
what an
really cool.
opportunity. Like
Right.
how many opportunities do you have like that at this stage of
At an
life?
average
Yeah.
level. Yeah,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
To call yourself, I'm going to a world championships.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So the second race was a lot busier for us as a studio, and to see a lot more members competing, which is really, really fun. And as I said, girlfriends train together, husband and wives train together, mates train together, and they all watch each other. So it was a really great community-based event for us, which was really, really exciting because you're building towards every race every 2 or 3 months. So you're building again and again, and then that race ends, and then you go to Melbourne, and then you go to Brisbane, and then you go to Auckland. So every 2 or 3 months, there's another event to get excited for and train towards.
It must create enormous energy in your space, right? Just seeing everybody on this shared mission and with this shared purpose to be the best they can be, right? And to go to that next event and to deliver their best performance. Everybody's behind them. And then it's not like it's this big thing and then there's this big come down. It's like, no, we're going to go and beat that again. Let's focus on the next event. So did you feel an energy shift in your business when you started competing at HYROX as in teams?
I would say in the first year it was definitely an add-on. So there was only like a portion of the gym members, the member base that would participate.
A minority?
Yeah, a minority, definitely.
Okay.
It's still a minority.
It's still a minority today, but it was a smaller minority in the first kind of year. And there was, like anything new, you know, there's the definitely not for HYROX people that have an opinion, and then there's the definitely for HYROX that have an opinion. And then there was quite a few kind of like, I don't really know if it's for me or not. Over time, the line has got a little bit blurred, as in we have plenty of members who participate in our HYROX classes that will possibly never do a HYROX.
Yeah.
And then we have a lot of HYROX members who participate in all our everyday classes. So the line today is not quite as harsh as it was very initially, but, you know, that's pretty normal when you have any kind of add-on. And it was seen I guess there was a little bit of like, oh, they're all they're really
Was there
fit.
some elitism to it?
Yeah. They're really fit. They're really elite. I'm happy to say it's not quite like that now.
I was going to say, how did you combat that? Because that can also create a little bit of segregation, right?
Yeah. We tried really, again, with the intention, we tried really hard not to ever replace anything that was traditionally unit with HYROX. So we tried, we never would have done something like take a popular class and replace it with a HYROX class.
Yeah, okay.
Because there was always this how will our unit members be affected or be impacted by any decision making to do with HYROX? So we have been very clever about or very intentional about that. Any decision making when it comes to adding classes, adding events, adding things, always been just making sure it doesn't impact.
So you're very cognizant that this is our core.
Yeah.
And this is a complement. It doesn't replace.
Yeah.
Yeah. For us, it's an add-on. And we spent 2.5 years building Unit Sydney S&C programming
before
HYROX was even a thing.
Yeah.
So for us, or for me, the programming for Unit, it's not that dissimilar to what HYROX kind of is. There's just no running. You're still building strength, still anaerobic, aerobic, power, explosiveness, all that stuff that an S&C gym does that Unit Sydney has been doing. All you had to add in was a bit of compromised running. So we never wanted to, as Alex just said, never wanted to replace a unit class with a HYROX class. So if there was a time in our timetable which maybe it was a bit quiet or there wasn't a time even invented, so let's say 4:30 on a Tuesday afternoon, that was never there. So could we add a HYROX session in there?
And just see.
Yeah, okay.
And just see if it works.
That was how our HYROX, in terms of adding it to the timetable, firstly, our HYROX training was a little bit unofficial because obviously HYROX had that deal with a certain franchise and no one was technically allowed to be offering HYROX. So at first it was a little bit unofficial. And so it was times that were outside of our normal programming. When it came time that we were able to officially add it, and, as you said, we jumped on it literally the day you were allowed to do it. What we did was actually look at an underperforming class and replaced that. So this sort of, I guess, plays into that. It limits your risk. So there wasn't really any risk. It was we had a class time that was not really where we wanted it to be or not where it had previously been. So we were let's try it. And that grew quite quickly. And then it was the other one, like Matt said, it was 4:30 p.m. We never offered a 4:30 p.m. class. We had talked about it. We had thought about it. We weren't really sure if it would work. So then we were cool, let's just make it a HYROX and see if anyone turns up. It has been on the timetable since. It's not our most well-attended class, but it's attended enough to justify
to warrant it. Yeah,
to warrant it. And then, so that was kind of how we started HYROX. It was which classes are our lower performers and can we make them HYROX? And let's try that.
There's a few things that I want to ask the affiliate. So you couldn't be an affiliate initially because there was a global deal there. You then became an affiliate.
Yep.
If gyms are out there listening right now and they are entering some of their members into HYROX and they're doing similar training, what would you say to them around considering being an affiliate?
I would say
definitely do it.
Okay.
100%.
I think we're getting to a point now. So the affiliation, the numbers are growing within Australia and everywhere else. But we see the numbers specifically in Australia. I feel as hybrid training is now the mainstream, it's very normalized. It is a style of training that a lot of people are catching on to. I think we'll start to get to a point where, I guess just for us, for example, within a small block, there's us and 2 other HYROX affiliated gyms, right? So when potential members are considering the 3 of us, if one of us didn't have a HYROX affiliation, we'd probably be cut purely based on that.
Because we don't offer
Because we didn't offer it. And even if people aren't really sure if they want it or not, it's kind of well, these 2 have it and this one doesn't.
But why don't they?
And it's and
this 2 must be better then.
Yeah. I just think it'll start to get to, in the same way that everyone offers strength training. So they're going to see that everyone offers strength. So they're looking for another way to differentiate. Yeah. Everyone's offering this.
Gives you much more credibility,
it's just
right?
I think it's credibility. I think it's, I would say and this is it, because the whole purpose behind HYROX affiliation isn't sort of like, it's not to it's not to give it to one person in a whole radius. That's not the intention of it. It's to get hybrid training into all the gyms on a sort of like, and being able to use the HYROX name.
And I guess there's standards then of delivery that are consistent across. If you're going to call yourself a HYROX gym, then at least there's some
level of standardization. Yeah,
correct. Yeah,
there's also perks for affiliate gyms. You get the early bird access tickets,
which you need these days, right?
Absolutely, you do.
For a start.
It's a big draw card to become an affiliate club, because you obviously get the chance to put HYROX on your timetable legally, but you get all this stuff on the back end: programming, guidance, workouts, systems. But, the 48-hour early access is a big draw card for people.
Massive.
Because they want to know they're getting a ticket.
So you don't want your members. I think
miss out.
The flip side, you can sort of, it's also like a member perk.
Yeah.
That kind of early access is a member perk.
So I like that.
And do you want to be able to offer that to your members? So I think it's a two-pronged thing. You don't want to miss out on new members just because you don't have it, but you also get to offer your members.
You get to support
cool
your
service.
members.
Yeah.
But it's also, as we said, from the first Sydney to even last Sydney, I had 50 members last year competing, but we know gyms around Australia and they have 50, 60, 80 members, and they're all wearing the same T-shirts. They're wearing their kit. They go into the space for 3 or 4 days and watching every other athlete. So when you go to these events, like any sporting event, it's like a reunion. You see the same people over and over again. You see that gym's got 50 members all wearing the same T-shirts. There's an F45 there. There's a BFT over there. There's this brand there. It is very much a community-based spectator sport, which is what, even if you're not competing, you want to be a part of, which makes the affiliate program such an attractive incentive to be a part of your gym.
Yeah.
I'll tell you a story. I was off to Melbourne to compete in my first HYROX, and I'm sitting there and there was this guy across the aisle, and he was sitting there and he was carb loading.
Smart.
Yeah. And I was like, what are you doing? And he's like, I've got my HYROX event. And he was this older dude. He was a very excitable character. Anyway, I said, what have you been doing for training? He goes, oh, well, I'm at unit. And he said it with such pride. And he was talking about the simulations that you do and the training programs. And he had this great reverence, right? He was talking about you guys with great, that you had this fantastic authority. And a lot of people will see HYROX and they'll kind of do a little dabble, right? So we might enter a team. We might do a hybrid class. You guys haven't done that. Like you've really gone, you know what, we're going to make a commitment to this. We're going to support it as a studio. Our coaches are going to do it. We're going to get an affiliation. We're going to do proper simulations. What made you go all in to that extent?
It wasn't really like, there wasn't even a conversation that was like, should we or shouldn't we? It just felt like you should do it. And I think, that kind of from that first experience of going from Sydney to Melbourne in 4 weeks, and then you just know, like, I guess just watching Matt's, so he's a better athlete than I am.
Stop it.
Yes.
He's not denying it.
But he, and sort of like, I think we're very different athletes, right? And so the fact that both of us could get something out of the experience was like, this is probably for everyone. And I think HYROX have done a very good job. They put almost as much emphasis on the spectator experience and event experience as they do an athlete experience, which I think is probably something no fitness event has done as well. And so I think that's where it's like, this is actually for everyone, and to integrate it into our gym, our little gym in Alexandria, we felt like we could get the buy-in. And it was easy to get the buy-in. It wasn't like we're going to be sort of like pushing shit up a hill trying to get members to get involved in something. It was like we could see that it would just get buy-in from members naturally without any, I don't want to say any additional hard work. There's always a little bit of work involved with creating new programs, etc. But it was like
almost easy, right? Like
almost easy.
Yeah. In terms of like there was an enthusiasm and drive from them.
Yeah. And that was thanks to, I guess, just the HYROX name. You know, like I said, we had done other little competitions, teams of 4, adding on a little bit of extra training, getting people into competitions, getting people to go and watch. But, you know, you sometimes feel like you're trying to drag people into these extracurricular activities, whereas this was like,
it's a very easy process.
It was easy. It was easy to integrate.
I think for us putting on the HYROX classes as well, it has a draw card on its own. But as I said before, I don't feel the unit program was that different to what
it was complementary, right?
Complementary, 100%.
Yeah, well, it wasn't like you were adding on something completely radical.
No, it wasn't.
It was like, hey, we're already doing this. Now it's just we're doing it with a bit more compromised running.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
you weren't creating something new.
Yeah, we didn't have to learn, like from a gym perspective, it's not like you had to learn a whole new
way of programming.
Or anything. It was quite, is it like we had to learn, well, we spent time learning the race and learning, you know, a little bit of specific rules and the processes. But in terms of like, you know, you feel like when you're trying to grow your business, you feel like you're kind of like, I have to learn something new. This wasn't like that.
It was a natural fit.
Yeah.
That's the thing with the coaching, not just unit of HYROX, but the coaches in our team, we want you to get better. Just like with any lifting class, you want members to succeed. And when you come in for a HYROX session with us, you're learning something you didn't learn before. I want you to leave the 45-an-hour session learning something. So when we run our simulations, which we've done for quite a while now, you know, this is our 15th simulation, I think we're running this weekend.
Wow.
We know HYROX because we've done it quite a few times. I've done quite a few races. Alex has been there a lot of races. Our coaches have done multiple races. So when members and non-members come in to do an event at our gym, we want to walk away learning something. Obviously, we're not going to no-rep them and say, there's a 10-minute penalty.
We don't give a penalty.
We don't give penalties, but I'm going to say, on the day, think about this. The judge is going to look for this. You can't do that. Try and do this. So
it's much more than just a workout as well.
100%.
Yeah, it is. I mean, that was the whole point of when we started doing simulations. The very first one we did was just for our members.
Yeah.
And it was just so we could try and give them the opportunity to experience a little bit of race experience before the day. We have since gone on to, obviously, after we had done 1 or 2 with just members, we opened it up to non-members. Nowadays, as if we've been doing it for years, today, like usually about 80% of our participants in simulations are non-members.
That's crazy.
Which is like crazy, right? For when you think about it, these are people who probably can't train with us, mostly from a location perspective. They don't live close enough. They, it's sort of they'll be able to travel half an hour on a weekend to do a simulation, but it's not practical. They could do it.
Do that every day.
Yeah.
And you know, our members get enough one-to-one time with us. They get enough. They see us week in, week out.
That's pretty amazing. So it's opened up a whole new market. Like 80% of the people there. How many will you get in for this simulation on the weekend?
So we are nowadays, well, this weekend we have 96 booked in.
Crazy, right? So out of that 96, 78 of them are going to be non-members that you get exposure to, that you get to impact.
Yeah. And we're realistic. Like we know that majority of them aren't necessarily potential clients in terms of recurring memberships.
Yeah.
But you often don't know who they know, or you don't know
who they speak to.
Who they speak to. And then they'll often come and maybe do like one-off drop-ins, you know, and it's still revenue at the end of the day. You know, it still gives us something. But more than that, it's sort of, I guess, putting us and our coaches on display as being
the best.
The authorities.
Yeah, being the authority.
And that's how I've seen you.
Yeah.
How much do you charge for a sim, by the way?
So for a non-member, it's 45.
Okay.
For a member, it's 25.
So, fantastic. Great revenue. Yeah. Great opportunity to impact. Great opportunity to bring in some new people.
Yeah.
And then also great for the credibility and the word of mouth of the brand itself.
Which is probably the most important, I would say.
I wanted to ask, we were having a discussion off camera before, and I said HYROX is a trend. And what I mean by that is I think there's fads which are very, very short term, right? So we see them come and go in the industry really quickly. I've been in it 2 decades. I've seen more fads than I can count. Then trends for me are longer. So they've got a longer time horizon. And a lot of people are asking me, they're going, Dan, do you think HYROX is going to die in the next kind of like couple of years? And I'm like, no, I just see the participation numbers go up. I can see people on that constant journey for improvement. So I can see that the numbers are not, if they're going to do anything, they're going to continue on the growth climb that they're on. And I feel like it's going to be here for a long time. Would you guys agree or disagree with me on that?
I don't think we're at its peak yet.
Okay.
Yep.
And I think if we reflect on the numbers from the sort of 25-26 season in terms of HYROX, it is like just generalizing a little bit, 50% sort of like returning athletes and then 50% new athletes.
Interesting.
So roughly each race is doubling, has been in the last year. Although I possibly wouldn't see quite so significant this year, I would still expect a huge number of new participants.
Constantly bringing in the new. It's not just the people doing the same events time and time again.
It's not. It is definitely they're bringing in new people because people, I guess, are realizing that it really is like achievable for anyone.
Yeah, the barrier to entry is a lot lower for HYROX than it is for any other sport.
Yeah.
But knowing what we know now and knowing the team that's behind HYROX, they're so passionate. It's such a big family on the back end that it can't not grow because they live and breathe it and they love it. So even from race 1 to now, the spectator experience and the money put behind each venue and each race and 4 to 5 day to 6 day to 7 day races, they're putting more into the races. So it's a better experience for the spectator, better experience for the athlete. So they keep coming back and back. So each race is an event that you get FOMO if you don't want to get there. So that's what makes it exciting.
Yeah. I mean, I couldn't predict how long it will be around
It's
for.
very hard to do so.
Of course. But I would certainly say it's going to be around.
It's not going anywhere.
It's not going anywhere. And because I just think that ability to throw an event like a HYROX, as in host an event, a fitness race, it is so enticing for so many different people that I can't see people getting bored of it anytime soon. I don't even think it will change in any kind of format in terms of like the race will stay the same. What will change will be the elite level. And sort of like obviously HYROX have this bid to get hybrid racing into the Olympics. So I think at a top level things will change, but for the everyday athlete, I think it will be around for a long time.
As you're saying, most people join gyms to see results and they want to train towards something. Now, whatever that's a half marathon, a marathon, an Ironman, you're training towards something that makes you fitter and healthier. So why wouldn't you want to be a part of that? And that's what we got into the business in the first place, is to help people get fitter and stronger and healthier. And HYROX is doing the exact same thing.
Fantastic insight. One of the things I wanted to ask you about is right now it would be not easy, but it would be very attractive for people to come and train at your facility leading up to an event. So we've got Sydney coming up. They do a big training block. They do the simulations and then they might leave because they've got this very specific goal and purpose of the HYROX. Are you guys seeing that first and foremost? And secondly, how do you protect your culture and community when you got people that are transient, that are coming in for a specific objective and then leaving, and then you've got your main client? So maybe classes all of a sudden capacity starts to get reached and your regulars can't book in, or they just feel like there's all these new people and maybe they're not getting the same level of attention or energy. Have you felt that tension at all?
I think this sort of, as we've said before, we've always been very intentional about making decisions that that won't negatively impact the existing unit. Classes, members, brand.
Because they're your bread and butter.
Because they are, we're very aware of that. Yes, we see HYROX specific classes getting to capacity closer to a race. So we are about 5 weeks out from Sydney. Our HYROX classes are at capacity. We will go ahead and probably add one more session, so there's a bit of extra capacity. I think we do have members that will just join, be here for sort of HYROX specific, and then we'll head off. We are aware of that. And so we will still consistently market non-HYROX to HYROX. You can't get complacent and just, you can't get distracted is probably a better word, and just take all this new money from HYROX people, because we're just very conscious that they are, generally speaking, short-term members. Now we're, City Fringe, our sort of length of engagement is probably a little bit shorter than someone who's in a more suburban area anyway. So it's not necessarily like too much of a shock to us. We're in an area where people move along all the time anyway. So I think we are just aware of it. We don't get complacent when we do things like run HYROX sort of close to race days where we get sims and we get these additional members and additional drop-ins. We view that as temporary, sort of like a temporary increase in revenue. We certainly just don't think that that's going to be around forever. It's a big mindset thing, is to not get, when you're looking at your monthly numbers, like I don't look at, when I look back at last year, I'm like, well, I know that's an increase because it was just before the Sydney race. And I know that was high because it's just before the December, Melbourne race. I think you have to be realistic. There's no real way you can combat it. I think
at the same time, we have people who come just for HYROX, who have joined on a full-time basis because
they love the place. Yeah. So they've gone in there with one intention and ended up staying. Yeah. And I think there's lots of key takeaways that I just want to draw out. The first thing, and you've been very clear about it, this is our core and we will not compromise the core. It's to complement, it's not to replace.
Yep.
And at any point, if there feels like there's a tension, we're going to deal with that.
Deal with it, yeah.
Yeah. Second thing that I love is, we are getting these huge increases in revenue and it's going to spike the numbers. But when we look at our numbers, we're more looking at this is the core product and maybe this is a little bit of cream right now, which is fantastic, but we're not going to make financial decisions with those in mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think, that we did add on a few different membership types as we started to add HYROX to facilitate those transient people. I think we also, just going back to this point of trying to be, seen, always trying to offer help and always trying to be seen as sort of an authority. You never know, just because someone comes and does a few weeks and then they leave, because it's probably not the most convenient gym for them, they will recommend other people. And that's probably the biggest.
Referrals always win.
Is always.
Like with any gym. Referrals are huge.
Yeah, we are proactive in that sense, is that if we're offering a good product, which we believe we are, they will recommend their friends.
Yeah.
And that happens time and time again. People come for a sim and then they'll be talking to a friend and then their friend will turn up for a class. Like, you just don't know who's
speaking to who.
Where, yeah.
True. There might be gym owners out there right now listening to this or watching this going, I've missed the HYROX wave. Like, it's big, right? What would you say to them?
It's not too late.
It's not too late?
It's definitely not too late.
It's not. And do it properly, as in give it some thought. Don't just buy the affiliation and hope that the HYROX name is going to send you people. Actually learn the race, actually experience it, and see what you take as the positives from it. And like I said, I think it's very lucky that we got two different perspectives of it from the start, as an athlete and as a spectator, and as a gym owner, where you can fit that into your business. Start slow. Don't go and replace your most popular class. Try and find a time. Weekends are probably a good starting point. And just do it well. Like, don't expect it to just fall into your lap.
I always tell gym owners that I speak to is that if you're going to do it, someone has to take the bull by the horns.
They got to own it, right?
Yeah,
they got to champion it.
Yeah, you have to champion it.
Yeah.
So I was doing it at the start, and I still do it now, but we have a great coach who does all that programming now, and he lives and breathes it, and he writes some great classes. So the fact that we can pass that on to a member of staff who loves it as well is a real blessing. But
and that's that staff satisfaction thing as well. He wanted to do it. We gave him the opportunity to do it. He also gets to be, I guess, he's seen now as if anyone would like a PT, they're like, well, they'll go to him to get the PT.
He's got authority, right?
Yeah.
He's got authority now, and so he gets to make a little bit of extra money with PTs. And they're probably not going to be there all year, but even for 6 weeks, if your coach gets this little bit of extra income for 6 weeks and I've not had to do anything about it, happy days.
why wouldn't you?
Love it, guys. I've really enjoyed today's conversation. We're coming to an end. Now, there's going to be gym owners out there that will want to understand what you guys do more. No doubt they might have some questions. How can they best connect with Unit and you guys?
Oh, many ways. Many ways you can reach us.
Instagram. We're always on top of that. Unit Sydney.
Awesome. I'll put that in the notes.
Yeah, please do. Email and phone. We love talking to gyms and business owners about HYROX and what they can do with their space. But if you are thinking about it, ask the question.
Great. Most definitely do that, guys. Now, one question I love to ask all our guests, so you don't get to leave just yet. It is, what is the best piece of advice you have ever been given or received? Who wants to go first?
I think I've already mentioned mine when it was no one's coming to save you.
Yeah.
It's your business. You can do what you want with it.
I love that, Alex. Yeah, I think more business owners need to hear that.
Yeah.
Something along the lines of you can't ask someone to do something that you haven't done multiple times. So if you're asking someone to do a specific role, the reason why I'm doing that is because I've done it 1,000 times and it kind of needs to be done. So standards, keep the standards high.
Great leadership principle as well. Don't ask someone to do something that you haven't done yourself.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you both.
Thanks,
I
Dan.
appreciate you guys being on this show. Some wonderful insights and lessons from you, and I really appreciate that you've taken the time out to do so.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you for watching and listening to today's episode. If you got value, you know what to do. Make sure you either like, subscribe, or share it with a business owner who would benefit. Thank you so much for watching.